Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the description below, and a very big thank you to everyone who leaves a like on the video. Without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So, a normal part of the cryptocurrency market cycle, I'm sure you've seen that people have, maybe if you're on Twitter, a lot of people have been posting the normal like disbelief, like euphoria, like that kind of like those charts that show like the levels of where things are happening in the cryptocurrency space and where prices are going to go and how we have a lot higher to go in price and the bull run's not over and there's more money to be made, that kind of thing. Another part that people quickly forget about in this hobby of ours that we call crypto is one, it's not, I won't call it delusion, but it actually is a heavy portion of delusion. And I think it happened just because people are looking for attention, and for no other reason, because these people know the actual numbers. And as I always say, if you and I know the numbers, that means the people actually like deep in the industry also know exactly what's going on. There were a lot of discussions 2 months ago, if you missed it. As XRP's price was going up, the discussions began to arise once again of XRP passing Ethereum to become the number 2 coin. This isn't anything out of the ordinary, especially as of late. Ethereum hasn't been performing as well as many other altcoins. We've all seen it happening. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that XRP could once again become the number 2 coin, because it's happened already twice before in the history of the cryptocurrency space. When I talk about delusion, and I say this in the nicest way possible, it's this idea that Ethereum is going to pass by Bitcoin and become the number 1 coin. Ethereum is the most used blockchain on the planet, but I think that's because of, how do I say this? I think people used it years ago. They still have stuff built on top of it, and they're just kind of used to using it. It's not a sunken cost fallacy. It's just more of a, well, this is where we are. Why should we move homes if we already live here? That kind of thing. Ethereum continuously, the people behind Ethereum, and I don't know what it is in the last year and a half. This is like a real thing if you've been following this channel. They every week, there's some kind of a brand new, this upgrade's going to happen. We're going to be updating this and so. The things on chain are going to be fantabulous. When we have this upgrade, and I was telling you last year, I said, okay, that's kind of cool. Because we would normally hear from the devs, the developers, on top of Ethereum, maybe 3 times a year if we were lucky. And it was like, hey, we're going to have this upgrade in January. Then they would come back and say, oh, sorry, it's actually going to happen in March. Okay. And then we'd hear from them again sometime in August or October. You know, we're going to have this thing that's going to be happening on Ethereum. It will eventually take place. But that got pushed up to weekly, where every single week we kept on hearing from people. And I mean, 70% of it was also Vitalik Buterin throwing out ideas, and this is going to happen. And I kept on saying in the videos, I was like, well, we'll do it. Like, what's the point of you constantly mentioning that things are going to happen if none of them actually ever end up happening? And then for some reason in the last, maybe it's like winter blues. I'm not really sure what's happening in people's lives, but there's like this really weird thing where a lot of people working with Ethereum kind of have like a Cardano kind of attitude to them right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Charles Hoskinson years ago, and I mean until recently, was kind of like picking fights with everyone online. You can don't think I'm making it up, because I can show you the articles, I can show you the videos, and you can find the articles yourself. He was talking bad about Ethereum. He's talking bad about XRP. Every other chain out there is garbage. Cardano's number 1. Someone parked too close to me. Why is there bubble gum in my hair? It was always some kind of like a really crazy thing that was happening with Cardano. Recently, Ethereum seems to be like in that same kind of energetic field. There were apparently like, the word's not scuffle, but like disagreements within developers from the Ethereum Foundation or the Ethereum something, and Vitalik Buterin had to like reiterate like, no, there's no boss here, like we all work together. We don't need like a changing of the guard kind of thing. And apparently some developers left, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And I mean, also, let us not even mention the delusion. Like I said, I don't know if it's because everyone's trying to gain some kind of attention or notoriety. And I mean this honestly. If you missed as well, this thing that was going on with Stellar Lumens. Stellar Lumens, this was 2 weeks ago. They posted on Twitter some like, it was meant to be a jab towards Ripple. It said something like, imagine having more lawyers than developers or something like that. And the amount of people, and I'm so happy for Logic, because the amount of people who were like, wait, you guys sound like jerks, because it wasn't their fault that Gary Gensler and the other guy before them had a 4-year ongoing lawsuit against the company. It's not like they, you know, guys, should we have more lawyers than people developing? No, they were trying to protect what they created, what they did, what they had, and the company. So of course they needed lawyers to actually, like, what are you talking about? No one even uses Stellar Lumens. For those of you who don't know or are somehow strategically unaware about real life, no one uses Stellar Lumens. Unless something has happened. At the time of me making this video, forgive me. If for some reason we've heard that someone has fallen from the heavens and they're like, hey, everyone needs to be using Stellar Lumens, and then every single place on the planet, you know, sure, I'm sorry, wrong timing. However, no one uses that crap. No one has wanted to use that crap, and no one's going to be using it. The clear winner is obviously Ripple and XRP from the standpoint in the corner that they're standing. We're not talking about the whole cryptocurrency space. We're talking about this one specific thing. Lumens has been desperate for a long time, and I think what we're seeing is that people know that the market is going to continue rising. It's going to go up. Prices are going to get a lot higher. And they're trying to be in the news and the spotlight. And they thought that they were being clever by talking negatively. And it's like, this is why I always say, like, the space would be along so much further if we literally kumbaya'd and just held hands. But everyone is so desperate to try and make it seem like, you know, oh, it's us, or like, your project is crappy. Nobody wants to use it. No one cares for it. No one cared for it for a long time. And if you missed it, this was back in 2019. This makes it even worse. There were so many calls against XRP for being centralized, and this was happening, and so, and all these other crazy things. The people from Stellar Lumens, you can look it up, they stood on stage at a convention and they announced that they were burning 50% of the supply. And I was like, that's the most centralized thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Can you imagine if the people from Ripple got on stage at Swell and said, we are burning 50% of the supply? People would completely lose their minds, especially with the entire escrow thing that they have. Can you imagine the controversy? No. It's too centralized. I can't be in that market. The people from Lumens announced that they not only had control over half of the supply, but that they were burning, bam, gone, half of the supply. You know what happened to the price? Not a gosh darn thing. Not one single thing. Not one partnership, not one phone call. No one cared, because the guy who created XRP got into trouble with Ripple, had a problem with them, left and tried to create his own coin called Lumens, which nobody wanted from the get-go. And they've been desperate for people to try and look at their project in some sort of way, and no one cares. Did not mean to rant, but I'm tired. I mean, really, like, physically and mentally exhausted of this space where we could all be making money and helping each other and working together. This idea of this constant negativity. Remember, I was telling you as well, like, even on Twitter, the amount of people, they go out of their way to be negative. They make sure I woke up on the wrong side of the blockchain, everyone else is going to be miserable. It's tired and it's disgusting. Like, really, It has to end because the market's going to go nowhere. The space is going to go nowhere because investors look at stuff like this. They don't want to, they want to be in a place where there's, actual harmony. Harmony equates to profits. Profits equates to more people being in this market. If you keep fighting with each other, you just look ridiculous, especially when people know that Bitcoin is Bitcoin. And the odds of Ethereum beating Bitcoin are so slim that you sound crazy saying otherwise. If Ethereum had all the upgrades that they said that they were going to have since 2017, I would say there's a shot. For those of you who don't know, the cream on top is meant to be 1 million transactions per second. Ethereum is nowhere near any of that. Ethereum Foundation researcher, his name is Justin Drake, argues that Ether will become ultrasound money soon enough. This is also some other delusion because people keep looking for a new narrative for the thing that they're in. For those of you who do not know or are completely unaware, the idea of Bitcoin has always been money. This is money. This is a new creation of money. It's not fiat. It's something new. It's for everyone on the planet. It has a value. We can use it as such. Got it? That idea transformed into the idea of digital gold. If Bitcoin keeps having halvings, if Bitcoin keeps being as rare as it is, and everyone is only able to have Satoshis, basically, governments and countries would be able to accumulate Bitcoin and create a brand new fiat currency. Since they're not based on gold, they'd be able to be based on Bitcoin. So therefore, inflation would basically halt or cease, and we would have these new forms of fiat currencies that would actually be worth something based off of the amount of Bitcoin that these countries have. This is why you keep hearing this like Bitcoin gold versus Bitcoin, like those kinds of things, that narrative over and over and over. And at some point, someone said that Bitcoin is ultrasound money. It's just a sound bite. It's just something that someone said where someone's being like, Bitcoin is the money that you can trust because we can tell mathematically what's going to happen to it. We know the issuance rate. We know when the halving is going to happen. We know in the year 2046 how much Bitcoin will be coming out of the machine. This is timed. We can tell. We know that Bitcoin will be amazing. The idea for Ethereum back in 2016 was a world computer. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know or forgot all about that, it's because the narrative keeps changing for Ethereum so much because they keep trying to be something that they're not. The idea for Ethereum was to be a worldwide connected system that had a cryptocurrency on top of it that allowed you to do transactions on different websites or other things. So basically, imagine the internet that we have now. Now imagine a literal Internet 3.0. I'm not talking about NFTs. I'm not talking about DeFi. I mean, imagine another internet being built on top of Ethereum, and that's the internet that we use. For those of you who do not know, you may be lucky enough to not be in one of these places, but there are a number of places, a plethora of places on the planet who don't have free and I say open internet. Not free money wise, but you can do what you want. You can message your friends. You can tell them when certain events are going on. There are a number of places that block this information, or they shut down the internet of that particular place. It's a real thing that happens over and over. So you might be lucky enough to be in a place where that doesn't happen, but boy howdy, there are many other places where this does. So it was first conceived and given to the world as this idea of no, we can do better. If Bitcoin's the currency, Ethereum can be the internet. So therefore, in this new world, you'd be able to go to whatever website you wanted on top of Ethereum. And if you wanted to buy something, you would use Bitcoin. For some reason, that narrative began to change when a lot of people realized in the Ethereum space that Ethereum was also being used quite heavily by institutions and by so-and-so. So the idea of it being this free, open place for everyone to use morphed into this idea of like decentralized finance and traditional finance moving over. And I mean, you're going to change narratives when one of your backers is Microsoft or JP Morgan Chase. Like, of course, you're going to care more about the money than the actual thing that you're actually developing. The idea of decentralization and all these other things tends to take a back seat. Not to say that Ethereum is not decentralized, but it's more of a original ideas take a back seat when billions of dollars are thrown at you. So now this idea of Ethereum also being able to be ultrasound money is like, okay, well, what happened to the other stuff? You were talking about upgrades and updates in 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and now 2025. The most that we've gotten is like transaction fees have fallen a bit. The other thing that we got was that we're in proof of stake, which you said before was not going to be a thing because you said the system would be safer with proof of work. So what do we have? Now people are talking about, well, Ethereum's going to overtake Bitcoin because Ether will soon be ultrasound money. And it's like, okay, this is what I mean. It's either a delusion or it's people really trying to make sure that they're in the news. And it like I said, it happens every single cycle. But this time it seems a little bit more like redonkulous because people are kind of like desperate to really have their project at the forefront. The way that you do it is with actual development, is with actual unity, is by actually being nice. Not by saying that other projects are going to collapse before you, because they're not. He said Ether will be ultrasound money soon enough as its issuance decreases. While its competitor, they're not competitors. You should be working together. This entire idea of every coin has to fight with each other is nonsense. It's so childish and it's so stupid. It's like the most ridiculous thing in the entire world. Why can't all of you work together? You were so busy 10 years ago telling us about this brand new world that you were going to build that was free and open to everyone. So it has to be a competition now. You have to there can only be one cryptocurrency. He said Bitcoin is cooked as it moves closer to its 21 million supply cap. It says sparking debate. This isn't a debate. This is just people trying to get attention. People desperately trying. Be happy that you are you are one of the people in the Ethereum Foundation. You are part of the second largest cryptocurrency that has ever existed on this planet. You have the chance with your money to do amazing and great things for people not only in crypto, but for the world. You could literally have in 40 years a statue made after you in a public plaza somewhere in Dubai, people being like, that guy changed the world. But what do people do with their money and their power? They throw their arms around and they continue flailing and going, I want to be number one. And it's like, okay. Drake said that to become ultrasound again, it was never ultrasound. Either issuance has to decrease or the burn has to increase. He says, I believe both will happen. Ethereum became deflationary after the merge in 2022, but started to increase in April 2024 following the Deneb Cancun upgrade, which reduced fees for layer 2 networks and the overall amount that was burned. Do you remember that? And remember in April 20, oh my gosh, the news was like, oh my gosh, the amount of Ethereum being created, like the issuance rate is skyrocketing. I think it went up by like 20,000 coins and those coins were burned in the next couple of months as people were using, like the prices were rising again. The more people use the blockchain, the more coins get burned. But people, it's so, why is everyone so negative? Everyone's so negative and so backwards in this space. Like there's no unity at all. Like it's so, if crypto crumbled tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised. No one's working together and people have to be like crushed or have their spirits broken to want to work together. That's the whole weird thing with Charles Hoskinson trying to build a bridge, a literal digital bridge for Bitcoin and working with Ripple for their stablecoin and otherwise. And it's like, you have to like fail and like fall on your face to be like, okay, all right, fine, we'll work together. You guys aren't terrible, like I've been saying for the last 18 months. Kumbaya, let's. And it's like, why not just work together? However, Drake compared ETH's issuance with that of the Bitcoin blockchain, finding that Bitcoin added 657,000 Bitcoin to its supply since the last big Ethereum upgrade, compared to 469,000 Ether added to the Ethereum network during the same period. If you think that those are the same, you're psychotic. Ethereum currently has, I think, over 120 million Ether, and it normally rests around that number. Did you hear my words? 120 million Ether. And with the burn rate and the issuance rate smacking into each other, it's more or less, it comes out to a constant 120 million Ether. Bitcoin isn't even at 20 million. It's a fragment of the amount of Ether that there will ever be. You can't say that Bitcoin, because of that halving, created 657, Ether created 469. Please come back to me with that same exact energy in the year 2032, for those of you who, once again, are unfamiliar. The amount of Bitcoin, because of this halving in 2024, 2028, and 2032, Bitcoin's issuance rate, like the amount of Bitcoin that comes out per block mined, will be less than an entire Bitcoin. So if Ethereum, on average, and I'll even give them the benefit of the freaking doubt, if the Ethereum amount that comes out of the network is 400,000 or 350,000, it's going to still be a fragment of a fragment of a fragment of a fragment for Bitcoin. He said that Bitcoin is worth around 63 billion at current prices, while the Ether is worth just 1.23 billion because they have different market caps, and Bitcoin is worth a lot more than Ethereum. You think because Bitcoin has a higher market cap, and therefore that Bitcoin that was created was worth more money, that Ether is rarer? He said, today BTC supply grows 0.83% per year, 66% faster than ETH. Drake said that the Bitcoin blockchain's 21 million supply cap could lead to long-term security risks, as mining revenue mostly comes from block rewards, around 99%. Listen, okay, I'm going to stop there. Because my brain is, I can feel it pulsating, and I can feel like this was an argument that people who created Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's vision, had. All the other coins that were desperate to try and get remotely, you can't be happy with what you have. You made, this person said out loud, in 120 years, in 120 years, all the Bitcoin being mined might lead to a long-term security risk. I'm going to repeat that one more time. You think that within the next 120 years, first of all, we all know it's going to take 120 years for the last Bitcoin to be mined. Got it. You think that the network won't have fixed that? That the people who run nodes and who, that they won't have voted on some other kind of thing? That's, it's so, okay, I think I'm going to stop there. This was by far one of the most popular things, but it's happening every single day. And I think it's out of this desperation of trying to get people to pay more attention, similar to the Lumens thing, to the Cardano thing. I can't even remotely tell you what's been happening with Justin Sun and Tron. Between him buying that banana, he was talking about buying TikTok, and I was like, sit down. It's this like constant, I don't know what it is, and I hope I never get there. I'll tell you, I never want to be so rich that I lose actual touch with actual reality. I think people get so rich that they kind of don't know what to do with themselves. So they kind of just go on to social media and just kind of rant and rave about everything that doesn't really make a lot of sense. I never want to get $1 billion and be like, I'm going to go fight people on Twitter. I'm going to go start problems. It just doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind. You are one of the top people working on Ethereum, the number 2 blockchain on the planet, worth billions of dollars. I assume he himself also has billions in the bank and in real estate and in diamonds and whatever rich people are buying as well. All these people keep starting fights with each other. It doesn't make any sense. I sincerely don't get it, but this, as always, ends up being incredibly popular news. I am going to assume, now please take my words. I am going to assume that over the course of this bull run, Ethereum is probably going to $12,000 or $13,000 per coin. It seems entirely conceivable that it's going to happen. At the same time, Bitcoin will probably go to 300,000, 300, 459,028 cents, whatever the case might actually be. Bitcoin will always probably be larger than Ether. There was a period at the end of that sentence. Actually, it's like a ... I don't know what people want, and I don't know why people continuously say weird things like this. Especially when someone wrote, and it was real as well. It said if you invested $10,000 in Ether 5 years ago, you would still have $10,000 right now. You can't stand at the top of the mountain when you're like, anyway. That's the Bitcoin is cooked news. You can't be that delusional, right? When other countries are buying up Bitcoin, when states in the United States, if they had all mentioned a BTC ETH reserve, I would go, okay. Oh, also is right here as well. There are apparently a total of 15 states who are actively trying to get a Bitcoin strategic reserve going, like with the bills and stuff like that. I think we last heard 11 or 12, but I think there are now 15 who have like put bills in and initiatives, and like they're going through the actual process. If these were all Ethereum reserves, I'd be like, oh boy, BTC. But if I know, he knows what Bitcoin's issuance rate is going to be during the next halving and the next halving. And then in 2036, it's like dust coming out of the machine. Like, like with network consensus, like people can like vote on the things that happen to Bitcoin. So like at some point, if they see that there might be an issue in the next 5 halvings, that security might be compromised. What they do, like you can vote on it. You can change the protocol and you can like, vote on new initiatives and new upgrades that happen actually on chain. So, oh boy. Yeah. Apparently Arizona and Utah are, it says, at the forefront of getting things actually going. I think we mainly heard about Utah before. Apparently Utah is the farthest along for whatever the actual reason might be. And many of them have multiple different levels of checkpoints that they have to go through before this ends up happening. The rumors, as we've been getting, is that apparently sometime in March, we should have the first 1 or 2 states officially having their bills completely through and being signed, and then announcing that they're going to be like we're buying Bitcoin tomorrow, that kind of thing. I think Florida was also recently in the news as well. But I think it was just a reiteration of what they plan on doing. They plan on putting over $1 billion into Bitcoin once their bill goes through as well. Yeah, it wasn't meant to be a ranty video, but like, guys, stop. You're some of the richest people on the planet, and this is what you do. It doesn't make any sense. Imagine if he had spent all that energy, instead of talking negatively about Bitcoin, talking about what's coming for Ether. What upgrades you have. What, like, tell us. You guys said 19 things last year. Tell us in March this is happening. In April, this is going to take place. In June, this upgrade's happening. In July, we're working with 4 other layer 2s, and we're going to lower Ethereum's fees even further. In October, we're going to make sure that we're going to upgrade Ethereum once again to have 3,000 transactions per second. It's never positivity. It's just like there's space for all of us. We all have room here. It's kind of like what's that phrase? I don't remember it, but I'm paraphrasing. It's something along the lines of like, everyone keeps fighting before you realize that there's enough money for all of us to become rich. You're so desperate to try and push everyone else out of it, and you look over. The pool's gigantic. We all fit here. We're all fine. We can all get our money. We can all become millionaires. Anyway, that's the Bitcoin is cooked news. I can't imagine being that delusional. But I mean, also, there are a lot of people like, remember all those people, every single day we have good Bitcoin news. And there are a lot of people who own no Bitcoin, like none whatsoever. And it's like, really? What if Bitcoin goes to $8 million? You don't have 1 million Satoshis? That sounds like a personal choice. Okay. Okie dokie, guys. I hope everyone's doing great. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all taking care of yourself. Hope you're all doing something fun or that you enjoy. I'm staying away from the news, as I've been mentioning. I'm feeling a lot better because it's just too much. My brain can take anymore. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.